Alrighty, so boom, as I like to say, we are live with Stepan. Good to have you here, man. How's everything going?
Yeah, everything is great. We are in Malaysia right now, so moving to Thailand. So yeah, just enjoying life in Asia, and was excited to come on a podcast. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I haven't actually been to Malaysia since I was like a very young child, so I don't really remember it. But my good friend Timothy Mark, you're probably familiar with him. He's also out there, and he absolutely loves it. So
loves it.
It sounds like the place to be these days. So that's good. But we're not here to talk about Malaysia today. You have had really great success lately. I've been watching from afar. You've been absolutely crushing it from Twitter. I think you went from 700-ish followers to over 50,000 in like 4 weeks organically, right? No paid?
No paid ads, but there's a strategy. Paid retweets, yeah. We can talk about it. Paid retweets, focus on threads. So yeah, we can go deep into that.
Yeah, fantastic. Before we dig into the nuts and bolts, Twitter is obviously going through a massive transformation right now. It's not very long ago that Elon sort of acquired the company, and at the time of this recording, he's still the acting CEO and is trying to turn the ship around. There's a lot of butthurt people over at Twitter right now, and I think it's hilarious, right? So the guy is a self-taught engineer who was like the chief rocket designer at SpaceX. So he's done incredible things, and then people are trying to like comment on his ability to turn around a social media company, which is like orders of magnitude easier than what he's already accomplished. 100%. And the media is trying to like tear him down and all that stuff. But I wanted to ask you about, personally, I think now is sort of a great time or the best time ever probably to get on Twitter and get serious about it because of the fact that somebody has actually stepped up and is taking action to fix things. I mean, they're shipping new features, they're fixing broken things. I see a lot of, the ads platform sucks on Twitter. I think most people know that, but that is another thing that they're probably going to be fixing in the near 100%. Future. What are your thoughts on where Twitter is today and sort of what's next to come with Elon in charge?
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you. Like, I don't get like why people are hating on Elon. And I think like they hate just, because they don't like Elon in general. That might be the thing. But like his ability, like he doesn't need to prove anything, right? Already, like he did some massive things and continue to do like crazy stuff in this world. So I'm actually like super excited about it. I'm optimistic about the future of Twitter. And I agree that right now is probably the best time to start building audience there because they are like, I love that he's building in public. Right, a lot of people, again, like on Twitter, it's crazy right now. A lot of people are criticizing him and like trying to, create some drama. But I love that he's building in public. I love that he's super transparent. He even said that he will try a lot of stuff, and some of that will work, some of that will not work. But that's actually like what I think it's been missing in Twitter for a long time. Right, it's been like stagnant, and I love personally like Twitter because I feel like, even as a consumer, there's a really quality content if you follow the right people.
Yes.
Compared to like, I don't know, like let's say Instagram, right? It's just like super generic. I don't learn anything new on Instagram. I learn tons of new stuff on Twitter. So I like really the platform in general. And right now I'm excited because Elon is turning things around. There are a couple of things they are already doing right now, right? And more is coming with. There's a lot of stuff we can go deeper into, but I know that they want to focus on video more, right? They want to...
Right, that's a big one. Yeah, right now I think you can only upload like 120 seconds of video or something along those lines, which is nothing.
It's nothing, yeah. Like I honestly like personally love that Twitter is mainly about text. So I'm curious like how they plan to actually execute it. Like because I also heard that they want to bring back Vine. Right, because obviously short-form content right now, short-form video content is huge. But I just hope that Twitter will not become like another, short-form video platform. That's just me.
We have
because we already have that, and I love that Twitter is different. But I get that like he needs to do something to bring new users. He also talked about that he wants to reward creators for creating content, right? So there'll be some monetization ways as well. So yeah, I'm personally excited about the future of Twitter, and I think it's if you are not in Twitter right now, I think it's a good time to start building audience for the future. Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. So you're right. I think the video thing is interesting. So that's one aspect where people are going to be able to succeed. I think the Twitter ads platform is another big element that's going to get fixed. And then I think also, so personally, one of the things that I think TikTok has done really well is basically the best content wins on TikTok. It doesn't matter if you have 1 follower or 1 million. If you make the best content, they're going to show it to enough people to give it a chance at least. And I feel that is actually something you don't really get on Twitter these days. So you do have to do things which I'm sure we'll cover a little bit as far as sort of getting to the first 1,000. But that is something that I hope they fix. I think that the best content should win. I mean, that's going to make it a better platform. Are there any other, let's say, specifics that you see as sort of upcoming opportunities for people on Twitter if they fix them, let's say?
Yeah, I think I totally agree that you compare it to TikTok, that on TikTok you can actually, you are at 0 followers, you are consistent with content, you create good content, and you can actually reach a lot of people. That's basically missing on most of the social media platforms.
Yes.
If you are starting from 0, nobody sees your content. And on Twitter, it's like that. Like literally, if you don't have followers, nobody will see your content in the first place, right? Yeah. It's a little bit better right now on Instagram and YouTube with Reels because they are modeling TikTok. But I'm excited to see if they implement something like that on Twitter too. When it comes to like biggest opportunities, I think like I would just start creating content, and focus on a good content because I think they will also reward creators who will do written content. That's just my opinion. It's not confirmed, but I think they just need to do it because that's like the main focus of the platform. But there will be a lot of opportunities with videos, and what I've noticed because I've been like watching Elon and like how he's responding to some tweets. He definitely wants to go into long form video format and basically reward creators for publishing quality video content, right? He had some, I don't know if you saw it, the exchange with Mr. Beast, it was like 2 days ago or something. And he told Mr. Beast that, hey, because he was sharing that Twitter added like more than 1 million daily active users, right? So a lot of people are criticizing Twitter, but just because of that attention, more people are using Twitter, which is obviously what Elon wants, right? So that's one part. He has a huge influence. But Mr. Beast just shared something that something with YouTube, and he just responded with something like, wait after we release the long form videos in like full quality, and we will start rewarding creators, right? And he replied with something that on YouTube you get rewarded really well. That's why people publish videos on YouTube, right? And it seems like Elon would love to reward creators better than they are rewarded on YouTube. So let's see if that happens. I think it'll be tough. But yeah, it's that can be like a big opportunity, video, because I think they will focus on it a lot.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. Awesome. Well, let's dive into some of the specifics here. So, do I have my numbers right? You started with about 700 or so followers, and you got it up to over 50,000 in about 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's correct.
Correct. So, where I want to start with this is, with anything that I find in life, the 0 to 1 is often the hardest part. And I think on Twitter, that basically means getting your first 1,000 or 10,000 followers. As we've just talked about, if you have 200 or 500 or 700 followers and you post a tweet, almost nobody's going to see it. So how did you get the first 700 or let's say the first 1,000? And how should people be approaching that?
Yeah, I will tell you how I did it because it's not perfect, but I will tell you what I would do right now if I started from 0. Because like I started basically, it was around like 2-3 months ago. I think 2 months ago, something like that. But I already had 700 followers there because, I created my Twitter account years back. And, as you sometimes do, you just like double with that a little bit. You post some content, right? I remember even like 3 years ago or something, I tried ads, right? Boosting my post with ads. And that's basically how I got the first 700 followers. Right. But they were dead, right? Because I wasn't posting for a long time on Twitter. So that's like, I would say like these first 700 were quite irrelevant because it was just like, by doubling throughout the years. So it would be the same if I started from 0. And what I did, because you are completely right, what I see a lot of people are wasting their time on Twitter because they hear the advice, and that's what I heard, right? When I got serious about Twitter about like 2-3 months ago, I bought some courses, right? I listened to some advice, and they all told me like the same thing. And I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it felt like it wouldn't really work because I tried some of that. So for example, they told me that I should post 5 times a day, right? 5 times a day from the beginning. Like, you need to be consistent. Twitter is different. You need to tweet a lot, right? Second was that you need to engage with bigger creators in your space to get some attention, which makes sense, but it's super slow in terms of like getting followers. It's great to make connections with people, but it's slow when it comes to like getting followers. So what I've decided to do, because again, it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to post 5 times a day if nobody sees it, right?
Exactly.
So what I decided to do, and what I recommend everyone to do, is to focus at the beginning on a quality instead of quality. On a quality instead of quantity, right? So I decided to focus only on threads, because that's what works the best on Twitter. That's where you get the most engagement, you get most followers. So my game plan was, okay, I will only post threads. And my initial game plan was I will do 1 a day. Right? For 30 days, let me do 1 thread a day. I didn't stick to it. I did like every other day, but it was enough to take me like to 50K followers in 4 weeks. So that's the first part in that game plan, right? But the second problem is you need quality content, which was for me were threads. But if nobody sees it, it's useless. You can have the best content ever, but if nobody sees it, it's useless, right? So what I did is I contacted a bunch of bigger accounts in my niche, and I negotiated with them, and I got them to retweet me. So I basically created a small team of 6 bigger accounts. And what I did them to do was to retweet my thread when I posted it. And then also after 12 hours, they retweeted it again to reach people in different time zones and like boost it again. So that's basically what I did. And the combination of that basically took me to 50K followers. Now, what is really important before you move on, a lot of people ask me about this, and a lot of people are like, oh, so this is what makes it go viral, right? Because I had some threads that were like crazy viral, like 300,000 likes. And this is not what makes it go viral. It's just like you get the initial reach, the initial eyeballs on the content.
It gives it a chance to go
Exactly.
viral.
It gives it a chance. Exactly. That's a good way to say that. So it gives you the initial reach, initial eyeballs. And then if the content is good, the main thing you need is to get people to retweet it. Right, so like more people, not the people that you paid, but more people to start retweeting. Right. So my most viral thread got 60,000 people to retweet it. That's why it went viral, right?
Yeah.
Not because 6 people retweeted it. So that was kind of the game plan.
Yeah, I love that, because you and I are both marketers, and we talked a little before we got on air. Like, we really get this. Like, we understand marketing. We've been connected for many years. This is the first time we're talking, but if you've been in the game as long as we have, as far as marketing goes, I've had the same reaction, right? I've watched some courses, I've read some books, and I'm reading their suggestions for how to get the first 1,000, and I'm like, that's not going to work. Like, I know that's not going to work, or maybe it'll work, but it'll take me 2 years.
Exactly.
I would rather get the truth of what actually works, even if there's money involved, right? There's nothing wrong with paying for retweets. That's how it works. So what you're saying is this idea of like just tweeting 5 times a day, trying to engage on more popular accounts. And by the way, so the logic behind that is, as we've covered, if you're tweeting to an empty room, nobody's going to see it. But if you go to some guy who's got 50,000 followers and he tweets something and then you reply in the comments, maybe you'll get 30 impressions or 50 impressions, which is better than you have in your empty room. But then you have to convert those people from your comment to come and follow you. And so, sure, again, that is possible, but it's going to take you a very long time. I would much rather take the shortcut, do it right, put out quality stuff, and play the game. Like, don't hate the player, hate the game, right? The game right now is that if you want to do this, the shortcut is find the accounts that make sense for you, pay them for a retweet, or 2 in your case, right? Which I like the approach there.
Yeah.
And that's how you get... That's why nobody else is claiming the success that you've had, because they're following all the other shitty advice that's out there, right? So you actually play the game the way that the way that it works. So I really like that.
And I can actually tell you. Sorry to interrupt. I can actually tell you because I've been talking to a lot of different accounts, like big accounts, and the truth is they are not saying that, but they actually do that as well. So they might at the beginning you may pay to some accounts to retweet you, but then if you are bigger, what's happening to me right now, because I have 50K followers, not really they pay me, I could probably do that as well, that's a good point, but other creators reach out and they're like, hey, let's exchange retweets.
You're switching. Yeah.
Let's help each other. And that's what they do, right? Because like it's about like this game is about creating really quality content and having distribution for that content. And you are basically, in this case, you are investing money to get that initial distribution. And once you have that audience, it's yours, right? And then you can grow organically and do your stuff. But a lot of opportunities basically opens up once you like grow that fast. So
yeah. Can you share a little bit, like if we go a little deeper on that? Because I really think, in a nutshell, I mean, that this is really what the whole strategy kind of relies on. So what can you share about, which accounts would be maybe a good fit to approach for retweets and which are maybe not so good? And then also, is there sort of a price range? It'll probably vary from industry or niche to niche, and then also like how many followers they have and how their engagement is. But is there any sort of price range that people should be looking for as far as retweets go? What can you talk about on that front?
Yeah, when it comes to retweets, the main thing is you want to look for accounts that are in your niche. It can be still broader, right? But it needs to be like still within your niche, so they have like your audience. And I was just like searching by keywords. Pro tip: also you can type Twitter growth in a search for Twitter, and like everybody who has a like Twitter growth or Twitter ghostwriter, they typically sell retweets, right? So you can find a bunch of accounts like that. And what is cool about it, once you contact like one person or two accounts, by the way, you want to get them to Telegram. Okay, you don't want to do that on like the entire chat. You don't want to do that on Twitter. Okay, so you find those accounts. You just want to make sure that they are in your niche. You check their engagement, right? So they don't have like a fake followers or something. You will never be like 100% sure, but I check the engagement, right? I wanted to move fast, so I check the engagement. If they are like getting a lot of engagement, which they did, and I reached out on Twitter. I got them to Telegram because what I heard, Twitter doesn't like if you talk about like paid retweets in their chat. You are risking, getting banned or something. So I got them to Telegram, and on Telegram I simply asked like, how much for retweets, and it definitely varies. Like everybody's charging different prices, especially personal brands. They will charge you more, right? Because like personal brands always on every platform they charge you more. So I went with because I didn't know like it will be that successful. I went with these niche pages, right? They are they are not really like
motivational quotes or those kinds of.
They are posting like real content, really good content, but they are anonymous, right? So like you don't know their real name, and they are in a specific niche. So I reached out to them, and I was surprised how cheap it was. It's literally crazy. They are like the accounts that I'm working with. They are increasing the price because they are also like using similar strategies, and they are growing super fast. So for example, like one of the accounts, like every account I basically paid for, they had more than 50,000 followers. So that was like my main thing. Like I want accounts that have more than 50,000 followers. And we are working together right now for 1 month or something, right? And they are all like above 100K. So they also like grow really fast. So they are charging a little bit more right now, but what they charge me, because also I negotiated, that's what I recommend, definitely negotiate with those accounts, because they will tell you some price, but you can get it lower, especially if you tell them, hey, I wanna work with you long term eventually, right? If it's good, if it's win-win, we can work together long term, and if they hear that, they will give you at a better price. And what they charge me is basically for 30 days, right? It was basically for daily retweets for 30 days, and it's actually 2 retweets, like I told you, like once when I posted, once when they retweeted after 12 hours. So for 30 days per one account, $150 on average. That's what they charge me.
Yeah, that's worth it.
That's crazy, right? So 6 accounts, I paid in total $750, and I got 50K followers, and not just 50K followers. I got more than 3,000 people on my email list within those 4 weeks. Right, so I'm already getting sales from Twitter. So it was definitely worth it. I would pay even way more, honestly, than that. And typically, like in some niches, they will charge you more. I know that in like financial niche, they will probably charge you way more. And if it's a personal brand, like it's like everywhere, right? If it's a personal brand, they will definitely charge you more.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I mean, that's really cool. I mean, that is such a no-brainer, right?
Exactly.
Like you said, I think even if they were to charge like 3 or 4 or 5 times that, it would probably be worth it, assuming that you have the rest of your funnel or sort of business, in place, meaning that there's some sort of way to make the money back and, maybe you sell some type of product or something. And so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like if you think about it from a marketing standpoint, right? And Facebook ads and this kind of stuff. I got 3,000 3,000 subscribers on my email list. And I paid $750.
So you need one customer out of that, and you'll make your money back.
Exactly, which already happened, right? So
we'll probably talk about that as well, actually, in a little bit, as far as like how do you actually make an ROI on that? How do you go about taking them from becoming a Twitter follower to actually paying you money? But I want to go back a little bit to the threads aspect. So what can you share about how you think about you said that quality is what you're really sort of shooting for. So how, obviously you're probably starting off with your audience in mind, right? These are the people, but what is your approach to coming up with a thread?
Yeah, that's a great question, because it also surprised a lot of people when I shared it. Because you definitely want quality followers, obviously, but if you go too niche, you can never expect to go viral. You can never expect to grow as fast as me. So I intentionally decided to go a little bit broader on Twitter. So I don't recommend to go super broad. You can still do that if you want to just grow your influence in general. Right? There are a bunch of people who just talk about random controversial stuff online, right? They grow their audience to insane levels, and then they can monetize it if they are good at what they are doing. So that's one option, right? What I did is there's a sweet spot, right? There's a sweet spot between super broad content and super niche content. Because I've tried really, really niche content, and the same accounts who retweeted me, and it didn't reach that many people. I got 20 followers from one thread, right? It's nothing crazy. So there's a sweet spot between that. So what I decided to do, for example, if you run, you run, you write emails for e-commerce stores, super specific business, right? I wouldn't just tweet about that. I would tweet level above, business growth, marketing, right? These more general terms, because
persuasive writing,
exactly.
Just a level higher, that it
Sales,
applies to more people.
100%, because that appeals to more people, which means more people will be sharing that content, retweeting that content, which means that it will reach more people, right? So that was my approach. I was okay, let me go broader with content. And the main thing that I did, and this is super important, I didn't reinvent the wheel when it comes to hooks. So in your thread, the hook, the first tweet, is the most important thing. That's what basically makes or break the thread. Because if the hook sucks, nobody will read the rest of the content, even if it's good, right? So what I did is I did my research, and I was just I'm using a tool called Tvemex. And what it does is basically you can go to your favorite creators, and you can check. Tvemex will basically sort their tweets by most engaging ones. So you will see their most successful tweets, right? So I spent some research, and I put all these hooks that I liked. I put them basically into one Google Doc, and I created a template from it, right? So even if it was in different niche, I took that hook and I made a template from it. And basically every single thread that I created that went really well, I just modeled the hooks that were already proven to go viral on Twitter. Right, I took the hooks that went viral on Twitter previously. I modeled it, and then I created my own unique content in the body of that thread. So it was still my content, but I modeled the hook, and that's basically what I think was a big part of the success, because I wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel when it comes to will this hook work or will this hook suck or something. So that's what I did when it comes to that's the main part, I think, when it comes to threads. Then obviously the content needs to be quality. I think you should either tell story in a thread, or you should teach in steps, right? 5 steps, 7 steps, or 5 mistakes, 5 points, whatever. People love to learn in steps. And what is also really important when you are writing thread is to make it easy to read, right? Make it super easy to read. I never write more than a sentence, more than a sentence before I do a line. If I write a long sentence, I immediately follow up with a short sentence to break it up. So it needs to really flow naturally. And Twitter actually, in my opinion, Twitter helps you to improve as a writer, because you have limited characters, and you actually need to take all this information that you have and just make it shorter, make it clear, make it easy to read. So that's another really important point when it comes to like writing winning threads. And then you have call to action, right? So you have a hook, then you have the main body, the main content, which is either, in my opinion, it should be either story or teaching some kind of content. And lastly, you have call to actions. Like, what do you want them to do? And we can touch on that later, because that's or we can go into that. That's basically where you can leverage and send people outside of Twitter. You can get them to retweet the thread, right? There are a lot of things that you can do.
Yeah, actually, that's a perfect kind of follow-up, because I wanted to come back to this idea of, all right, if I'm going to spend $1,000 on this or $150, how do I make my money back?
Yeah. So it really depends on your sales process, obviously, but every business has a different sales process, right? Like in my case, I'm really a big believer in email marketing. When I hear someone say that email is dead, I'm just like laughing, because like I'm still getting most sales from email. I know a lot of like people who are still crushing with email. So I love to get people on email lists, right? And so my goal was definitely from beginning to get people off the platform. Right? I want to grow followers on Twitter. That's cool and it's great, but you don't own that audience, right? So I want to get them off of the platform on my own email list, because that's where I can continue to nurture them, to build a relationship with them, and make offers, right? So that was my goal. So you can do it either by offering some lead magnet, free training, but what I did, because Twitter is mainly about writing and reading, what I did is I created a newsletter. So I have a newsletter. I send emails daily to my list. So I basically position that as a newsletter. Hey, daily newsletter where I will share with you some tips about marketing, sales.
Right.
And that's basically how I get people off of the platform. And that's basically what I plug automatically after each thread. So it's in my bio.
Right.
There's a call to action in my bio when someone is checking my profile. And also after each thread, there's a call to action to sign up to my newsletter. And what I do there, because like my threads are a little bit broader, what I do there is the call to action to sign up for my newsletter is super specific. So I'm literally like talking to that specific audience. Like, only if you are this person who wants this outcome, sign up to this newsletter, right? If it's not you, this is not for you. So I'm really specific there, because I don't want like everybody on my emails. I think I would have even more email subscribers if I go broader there. But that's basically my thing. So I get people to my email newsletter, and I send emails daily. I nurture that audience, and I make offers to my email list daily. Every single day I make offers. So that's basically what I do.
Yeah, it's hard to make money if you don't make an offer, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? Another thing that I remember seeing a lot in these like Twitter courses and books and whatnot is they seem to place a ton of importance on the actual profile. My personal hunch, not having gone through this journey, is it's not as important as they make it out to be, and that it sort of should be approached with a 20-80 type of thing. Like, what are the 20%? Well, maybe a good profile picture, a good bio, the right link, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the importance of the profile and how you approach the profile.
Yeah, I think it's important, but I agree with you that it's not like that important. You know, there are things that are way more important. That's what we talked about so far. So I spent like maybe 3-5 minutes creating my bio, and I never changed it since that. So I just like, what is really important is definitely, and I wouldn't even say that important. Like my opinion, if you are building personal brand, is to put your profile picture where it's your face. But there are a bunch of Twitter accounts that are crushing it with some like random graphic on a profile picture. So that's why I feel like it's not
especially
that important.
in crypto. Everybody's got their NFTs,
especially in crypto,
their apes, and their punks, and
So I think like it's mainly telling them like what you are tweeting about, like what you are like. My approach to bio was like, first line is a credibility, what I did, right? Maybe why they should follow me, what I did, right? So I was like paid advertising guy, right? So I put there, I've generated over $11 million for my clients, right? So that was like a big credibility, right? It's a big number, and I'm privileged to have that, right? So I put it there. And then the next line was what I'm building, what I'm working on right now. So I put a line there. I'm building 100K plus per month business while traveling the world. And the last line was what I'm tweeting about. So I tweet about marketing, sales, business growth. So that was basically my bio. And I don't know if it's perfect. It can be different, but I agree with
Working.
you because it's working. I agree with you because there are a lot of accounts they literally have nothing in bio. You know, they have some random profile picture and they still crush it because they have a good content. So I think the content is more important. But yeah, when someone is checking your profile, I believe it's good to have something like the reason why they should follow you, right? If they are deciding to follow you or not, like the reason why they should follow you.
Yeah, so I do a lot of consultations with basically all types of Web3 projects, and this isn't a Twitter thing, but one of the things that almost none of them have, which I tell them is very important, is a vision. And the reason for that is because it's giving people a reason to pay attention, a reason to follow, because most of the projects that I'm talking to, it's like where they are right now is not really exciting to anybody, but where they're going, like where they're trying to go, that's where the excitement is. And so that's what the reason is to follow. So I think this maybe less applies here, but still applies, because I do think that what you've said, in terms of the content is really the thing that's going to get people to look. I think the content is what's going to get people to your profile. And then maybe if they have the realization that, okay, there's probably going to be more good content like this or other things that I'm interested in, now I actually have a reason to follow this person. So
yeah, exactly.
And
the mission is a good point, because I have it there, right? I'm building 100K per month business while traveling, right? So there's something like they can be part of, right? And watch me maybe do it. So yeah, I agree that people love to be part of someone else's mission, right? And be on that journey. So and yeah, like it can happen fast. You can get followers really fast with this approach. Actually, like what do you say? Like you can spend like years building the Twitter followers. I literally got like on day 2, I had already 2,500 followers. Day 3 was like 3,500. Right, it went really fast. So
yeah, that's really awesome. Now, what about, let's say, again, coming back to crypto specific? Well, it's actually not a crypto specific question, but you do have a mix of, let's say, personal brands and maybe theme pages is one category, but then projects or companies. So in crypto specifically, projects have very successful Twitter accounts with tons of followers. Yeah. So just curious about any distinctions that you've made in terms of the approach for, let's say, a project or a company versus a personal brand.
You mean in terms of like you creating a profile as either personal brand or...
Not about the profile. So content-wise, would you approach the content any differently? Let's say I'm a layer 1 blockchain in crypto, or maybe I'm like an exchange or something like that. Do you still approach it the same way, or do you think that the content should somehow be different if you are, let's say, a company or a project versus a personal brand?
Got it. I don't think it should be different in my opinion, because like even as a company or project, I think it's good to maybe show your personality in there, right? So I think it's kind of similar. There's a really well-known newsletter right now in crypto space, the Milk Road. You're probably familiar with that. And they, like, why I love them, first of all, like they have a great content in the newsletter, but they show a lot of personality. There are jokes, right? It's like, it's unique. They stand out because of that personality. And they are not personal brand, right? So I think like for people, actually, people connect better with people. And I think like even if you are a company or project, you want to connect with people on that level. You want to show personality and you want to maybe do something to stand out. But I would, me personally, I would approach the content like similar, no matter if it's a personal brand or a project.
That's a really good point, actually. I find that companies, they tend to be just kind of too vanilla, right? There's no showing of here's what we stand for, or making jokes, or whatever the case may be. So I think I totally agree with that. Showing personality is gonna go a long way as far as being a project or a company that's on Twitter. So that's really great. We've probably covered most of the things, but are there any other do's or don'ts that you see people doing that they should stop doing, or that they should be doing more of? Like hashtags, for example, probably doesn't.
I never used hashtag.
Right.
I never used hashtag. I don't even think like that hashtags are relevant on Twitter, really. I don't see any big creator using hashtags. So I think that's a waste of time. What I also think is a waste of time is what we talked about, like posting without getting eyeballs on that. You need to figure out the way to get eyeballs on that. And it doesn't need to be just paid retweets. You know, there are other ways. So quick tip, something that I did and it worked really well, right? Because Twitter is also about relationship. You can collaborate with people. You can make a great connections with it, which I already experienced, which is amazing. And one thing I did, I had some accounts where they have like hundreds of thousands of followers, and I was like, how can I like connect with those people, right? And how can I maybe build some relationship with them so they may help me in the future as well, right? So, I'm always thinking about like how can I start adding value to them at the beginning, because a lot of people, they message you, and it's happening to me right now. A lot of people message me and, hey, can you help me with this, right? And I'm just like, I don't have any reason to reply, and they don't have reason to reply if I just message them, right? So what I did, and that's another point to this, where like you don't need to just pay for retweets, right? What I did is I created a thread. First of all, that's where engaging with bigger accounts comes to the play. If you want to connect with someone, just be active on their social media profiles. It doesn't need to be just Twitter, but make yourself familiar to them. Right. So because after a while, when you are consistently showing up on their content, you are making insightful comments, you are engaging with them, they will notice you. They will notice you. They will be familiar with you. Right. So that's how you are increasing chance to getting reply from them. But what I did is I created a thread with basically like, hey, most people follow wrong accounts on Twitter. Here are 17 accounts that are must to follow on Twitter. They share incredible value for free. And I listed all these accounts. And what happened, it blew up. It went viral. And those accounts got literally like more than 10,000 followers in a day from that thread. Okay.
So now you've added value to them.
Exactly,
as opposed to coming like, hey, give me something.
Exactly. So what happened, like, and there, like some high level people, there was a billionaire who founded Bolt. He replies to my Twitter thread, because I was seeing that he's losing followers every day, and suddenly he got like 16,000 followers in one day, right? So it gets attention. Andrew Huberman, a lot of cool guys, and with a bunch of them I connected in DMs, because right now they replied. So I was like, hey, I mentioned it in a thread. You may notice that you get a bunch of followers today, right? So they replied. They started following me, and they retweeted the thread, right? A lot of them retweeted the thread, which also boosted it. So that's also another way. If you build a relationship with those people, they may retweet you, right? They may retweet your content as well, and once you grow again, like you have another opportunity to like collaborate and exchange retweets. But I'm thinking about your question again, because it was about any do's and don'ts. If there's anything else. Yeah, one thing that I can also give you insight on, which I think is quite unique, and not a lot of people do that, is because again, I go a little bit broader with content, right? I go broader with content, but I still care about, building relationship with those people so they eventually buy from me, right? I still obviously want to get clients, want to get customers. So I was thinking about how can I speed up the process when it comes to like building relationship with all those new followers who come from these broad threads. And what I did, and I recommend this to everyone, right? I recommend this to everyone. What I did is I created a big thread that covers my story. Yeah. So I created a big thread. It basically goes throughout my entire story from start to finish. And once someone reads that thread, they literally know me. So they go from total stranger who just found me to someone who knows about me. They know what I went through, what I'm working on right now, what I do, right? How I help my clients. They know everything, right? And I created this thread. It went really good as well, because it has a good hook. You can check it on my profile. And I pin it so it's always on top of my profile. Right. So when someone is checking my profile, they are new to me, that's the first thing they see. And on top of that, what I also do right now is at the end of each thread, what typically people do at the end of each thread is like, hey, if you enjoy this, follow me and retweet this to your audience. Right. And I changed it. You can notice it on my last threads. I changed it and I do, hey, if you enjoy this thread, follow me, and you might also enjoy this other thread where I shared how I went from this to that, and I pin my story thread. And so my story thread, even if I posted it like 1 month ago, it's still getting new impressions, and that's how basically people build relationship with me faster. So that's something I would recommend that I don't see a lot of people doing.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. And especially, I do see that call to action all the time. Like, if you like this thread, go and retweet it. I don't think a lot of people are ready to go and do that. So continuing to provide value, or like, hey, if you want to know, other things like it. So sending people to that thread, or even other threads, like other threads that are relevant to sort of continue whatever they just read. And I love that.
And by the way, I also found that they will, if the content is good, they will retweet it anyway. Right. So I had
you don't have to convince them.
Exactly. You don't need to tell them. But this actually, even with crypto projects, right? Because you are talking about crypto. If I had a crypto project, what I would do instead of like it would be still story thread, but it would be about like story of that project and about the mission, right? So it would how it started, how it's going, and what is the vision there? What is the mission, right? And when someone reads it, maybe they will buy more into that vision than if they just like read some generic thread. So
no, I really like that. And I was going to say I really like that, this idea of the thread where you took all those people that you basically wanted to, connect with. And then you did what basically used to be the roundup blog post, when they would take a subject and they would write about, these 52 experts or whatever. So this is like the Twitter version of that. And those were always successful because now you're tapping into other people's audiences, which is something I talk a lot about, in my content. And so one way to do that is make a list of all the people that you'd like to connect with, put out a thread that makes them look better, gives value to them. And then like you got nothing to lose doing something like that. So that's a really great little tactic. Cool. I have one more question for you, which you may or may not have an answer for. And then I know that you actually have a program or a product that walks people through the full A to Z. And as everybody knows, maybe people don't know this, but the devil is in the details with these sorts of things. Like I just earlier today, I have this YouTube ads course that I bought like a while back, and my friend wanted access to it, and I gave it to him, and I said, you have to do literally everything exactly the way this guy says, and if you don't, it's not going to work. Like you can't skip over anything because he's going to run through it pretty quickly, but if you just skip one of the steps, like it doesn't work. So the devil's in the details. So my question to you before we dig into your I forget the name of it, but you'll tell us in a second.
Sure.
Are there any questions that I haven't asked you that I should have asked you that you think will be valuable to the people watching?
That's a good question. I think we let me think. We covered little like all of that, like when it comes to like the big picture strategy. When it comes to Twitter specifically, I think we covered it all, man. What I wanted to share, like the additional tip was the story, which I just shared, and there's literally like nothing else that I did to really grow. I think the main point is to also like get them off the platform, really. Like I think like not a lot of people understand it. They see followers and everything, but the social media platform, like they can decide anytime to shut you down or to lower the reach. So I feel like that's a point that is worth to repeat here, that you want to have some strategy to get people off of the platform, whether it's on your email list, whether it's to your Discord, right? If you are in crypto, but getting them somewhere where you can continue to communicate with them, even if you lost the account on Twitter, you can still keep in touch. But other than that, having a hard time to find something else because we literally went through all of it.
Good. Yeah, and I do agree. That is a very good point to sort of reiterate, because especially the email side, right? Look, email service providers, they can still ban you, although that's pretty rare. Like you have to be pretty shit person or do shitty things for that to happen. But you very much own your audience much more in an email list than on a social media platform. So I think that's a very good point. So that's very good. So why don't you tell us about the masterclass that you have? I forget the name of it, so please let us know about that and sort of what's included in there. And I think you have a bit of a discount for the people watching this video.
So basically, I didn't plan to do anything about Twitter because that's not really what I plan to teach. But because I blew up on Twitter and I documented it on Facebook, which is kind of cool because when I started, I posted like, hey guys, I'm planning to go and tackle Twitter. I have 783 followers right now. Watch me in the next 30 days. I will grow fast. Take your guesses below, right? So I literally documented like day number 2, day number 3. So obviously people started noticing it. They started asking me about it. I got people even paying for like 1-hour consultations with me, where I like walk them through it. So then I was like, okay, there's a lot of people asking about it. Let me do a masterclass. So I did masterclass about it. It was 2 hour long. We had I promoted it for like 3 weeks. We had more than 100 people who already joined, and it was awesome. I basically shared the screen. There was no slides, nothing like that. I shared the screen, and I shared step by step how I did it. So how I write the threads, all the tools that I use to automate everything, how I specifically find the hooks that'll work in like any niche, right? How I structure the content step by step, the call to actions. I went through everything. How I reached out. I literally shared the conversations with those accounts. And I shared the entire conversation from start to finish, how I reached out to them, how I negotiated with them. So there's literally everything, and the feedback has been amazing. And yeah, because we are talking about it right now, the masterclass is just $300, so it's $297. But for your audience, we can do a 50% discount, so they can get it for just $150 if there's someone who would like to go deeper in that.
Yeah, that's a killer deal. And again, the devil's in the details with these things. So that's absolutely going to be worth it for people who are serious about Twitter. And again, I really think that now is really a great time to get on Twitter. And it's, you know, I'm personally going to be doing this myself because I also see the value, especially against, the crypto space. Really, that is the sort of primary. I don't
100%.
know what other industries Twitter is like the primary platform, maybe like journalism and some other ones, but there's a lot of industries where Twitter isn't the primary platform. But I think there may be more of that. It may become more of the primary platform as as hopefully Elon and the team starts to improve more and more and more on the platform and making it an even better place to hang out. So that's it, man. Really awesome. I'm very happy that, the content of, basically how you did it, it is actually totally different from what you are learning in all these books and courses that other people are putting out. So I'm very happy about that because I also feel like, again, as a marketer, like I would read that the same way that you read it and you go, I don't think this is going to work. And then sure enough, like people try it and it doesn't really work, or it does work, but it's super slow. It takes forever. This is really the shortcut. Sure, there's a little bit of an investment, but would you rather work on something for 2 years or spend $500 and get it done in a week? You know what I mean? Like that.
Exactly.
That's a no-brainer. So,
and by the way, I think it would work even if I got only 3 accounts to retweet me, right? So the 6 is not a magic number. I didn't have any blueprints, right? I just got 6 accounts. Okay, cool. It sounds good. But I think even with 3 accounts, it would work because that's just the initial engagement, and then it's spreading with the other retweets. When people find it useful and they retweet it, that's how it's spreading like a wildfire. Then,
Fantastic. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, man. Sharing some of the secret sauce, and we appreciate it. And hopefully, we'll get a bunch of people jumping into your program and learning and get their Twitter followers and bank accounts going up. So
yeah, man, thanks for having me. It was great, and I hope that I will see a lot of accounts blowing up either for Masterclass, but even with this interview, maybe you can go and implement it on your own if you want, right? So it's up to you. We go deeper in a Masterclass, but I think you have the strategy right now. It's kind of simple. I think that anyone can actually implement it, honestly.
Yeah, and what's your Twitter handle if people want to, go leave you a message and say thank you or just follow?
Yeah, it's basically my name, Stepan Hlinka. So at Stepan Hlinka,
cool.
And you will find me there. Yeah,
we'll put that in the description as well. So fantastic! Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for having me.